Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Thursday, August 13th. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning this morning. Kind of hoping here that the market conditions improve. These last 3 days of trading have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. I stated it a few times in my live trading room yesterday, mentioned it on stream, posted about it. Probably some of the strangest market conditions that I've seen on the NQ and the ES for a long time. It kind of felt like those bank holidays, half day markets. It was, it's just been, we're obviously in an extremely balanced market. I've been saying this now for almost a week. And it's continued. I mean, every single, we're on a 5-minute candle right now, 5-minute candles. It's just every single move, even if you want to take, a pullback, it's the pullbacks are extremely aggressive. And there's just really very little continuation in any of the markets. So again, right here, good example, you get a pretty strong down candle, and more than likely we come right back and retrace that move right back to the upside. So very little momentum in the market. I would say since pretty much yesterday, right at the market open. I mean, it's even hard to kind of see it on the chart, but we are still downtrending from the New York Open from yesterday. Again, kind of hard to see it on the chart just based on price action when you're looking at it. But that's the current market conditions that we are in. So personally, Monday was a losing day for me. Tuesday, I was able to. It was a losing day, and I was able to at least get back to break even. Yesterday was a losing day for me, and I just kind of feel like the strategy that I've implemented, that's been very successful. I kind of need to play a lot more internal structure, and where I really like to focus on a lot of external structure, meaning the bigger moves where the bigger momentum plays to the downside or the upside. That's generally what I like to trade. That's where I generally see my highest win rate. There just really hasn't been a setup that's appeared in this type of market in now almost three straight days. And it's kind of funny because in my NinjaTrader cash account and my Apex funded accounts and my Tradeify funded accounts that I trade on NinjaTrader, I haven't taken a trade in 3 days. I haven't taken a trade all this week, and that account is obviously flat and hasn't gone through any drawdown. I take that back. I think there was a trade on Monday that I ended up taking on my NinjaTrader cash account. It's slightly green, but just the trade volume on that account is maybe one trade in 3 days versus me trying to trade intraday on my Iron Beam cash account, and it's a tale of two cities there. So it's a market that you definitely have to be extremely disciplined with. It's extremely easy to revenge trade in a scenario like this. It's very easy to anticipate a possible breakout scenario and to possibly trade that breakout scenario to the up or to the downside. Just know that every single breakout that you see, or that you believe that you see, is got about a 95% chance right now of retracing almost 3/4 or a little bit more of that move, or if not completely the entire move. So it's definitely a market condition, a market volatility that you definitely want to be extremely, extremely disciplined on. This is those type of days in the market that, to be honest with you, I believe that the prop firms enjoy extremely well, because this is a time where most people will blow their funded accounts, will go through evals like crazy. And for those of you like myself that are trading cash, you can leave a good amount of capital at risk, and you start getting into revenge trading scenarios. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be a good scenario. As far as some high impact news that we've got here this morning, we've got CPI numbers at 7:30 a.m. We also have initial jobless claims at 7:30 a.m. What are we going to see with those numbers? Well, if we're going to kind of take a look here at the bigger picture here in a second. So I'm going to take off my deep trades here, and I'm going to jump here to the 15-minute, so we kind of take a look at the bigger time frame, and then we'll go over our daily levels and what bands. Here's another interesting note. You know, if I pop in my Discord over here, you know, my statement this morning, I gave my bands, you know, in ES, NQ, and in gold. And I said, I can't remember a time when we have had the same bands for 3 straight days in all markets. Needless to say, we are still in a very balanced market. So, and for what that exactly means, well, if we go take a look at like the ES has had these daily bands on my chart now for probably 4 days. These haven't moved. There hasn't been anything added. There hasn't been anything removed. We haven't tapped into either side of these bands here on the ES in 3 days. On the NQ, same thing. Gave a band, did not tap into it. These are daily bands. These, we should have at least 2 or 3 bands that get tapped into every single day. And to go this long now without price action tapping into any of these liquidity areas, it's a little on the bizarro side. So, and again, if we look at the kind of the 15-minute time frame, so we could look at kind of like the bigger structure here. Let me remove my volume profile. You can see here that you know, we had a decent move to the downside. Again, the entire move was retraced, but like, just look at the move. Look at the price action on the way to the upside. I mean, it's just every single candle is alternating from red to green to purple to green, purple to green, purple to green. It's every single other candle. You might get 2 candles in the same direction, and then you just get a power candle that retraces that entire move. So if you've been noticing that your trading has been, you know, difficult, you're definitely not in the only camp. It's been, let me actually switch over to the 5-minute. All right, let's go to the 5-minute here. So now let's kind of get into what our current day on the NQ is going to take a look at. Let me pop in my volume profile. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. All right, so key levels for today. We've got the current open at the 29,823. sitting right below price action. Again, an area that we've kind of gravitated here at the Globex session quite a few times. So that's going to be a number that, you know, and again, you know, and I've been saying it now for a couple of days. I think I did a better job of it yesterday, but still, you know, if I had to rate my trading yesterday, it was probably I would say maybe a C- to a D. Tuesday was a D. Monday was, I don't know, it was maybe probably like a B or C, just because of the fact that it was the first real day of that extreme market condition of really extreme chop. So, but Tuesday I should have adapted a little bit better. Yesterday I should have adapted a little bit better. One thing I left you guys with is, you know, try to stay away from point of control type of moves. And for some reason, it's just, in a market that is so choppy, it becomes so inviting to trade because it's the only area where you actually see price action. But the price action is really terrible because every single move off of point of control is just met with a retracement, tapping either right back into it. And I think fair value yesterday for the first hour of the New York session was 50 points wide. So meaning between value area high and value area low was 50, maybe 60 points. That we haven't seen that. Again, you don't see that type of price action unless it's a bank holiday, December, day before Christmas, you know, those type of markets. To see that in a block of such high volatility that we've seen on the NQ, again, is kind of impressive. And to be honest with you, the ATR yesterday for most of the morning was 40s until it started to drop down. But you know, 40s decent volatility, but it wasn't 40 points in any direction. It was just constant ping pong action. So again, I'll state it again. I'm going to try to I try to heed my own advice. You really want to play some extremes. Any internal structure that you see in the markets or in the chart, those are the ones that you probably want to be targeting reversals off of, not really continuation trades off of. That's for sure. So that's my advice. Again, kind of sitting around and kind of talking about the same things here, but we've got a. This is all seller controlled volume here, sitting at the 29,986 to the 29,975. Yesterday's high was at the 30,001. Again, a good amount of liquidity. It just seems like none of these liquidity areas are even being taken out during the New York session. We are really trading in very, very internal structure. Another prior weekly high sitting up here at the 30,074. We've been talking about this. This was price action from last Tuesday. And then, to be honest with you, I mean, this is probably one of the best trade opportunities that we're going to get. I don't really necessarily know if we're even going to get up here, which is, you know, crazy to even think about on the NQ, but I don't necessarily know that we are going to visit this. The trade setup, I had it mapped out yesterday in my signal group, and it's going to look something just like this. So we're going to do a 1, 2, 2 right there. And this guy is going to look like right there, just a few points above. Let's get this back to 1.2. And if I enter this order in here, let's see if I can get this done here. So entry order would look like a short at the 29,975, targeting the 29,949.50. with a stop sitting at the 29,987 3/4. Again, this is all seller controlled volume up here. It's one of the extremes that we have to work with. Again, I would also be looking at these extremes, prior day highs, weekly high, previous weekly high. We've got a ton of them. We've got a ton of them that the market has not tapped into. So that's one trade idea here that we've got here on the NQ. Below us, we've got, this is buyer volume. Again, we talked about this one yesterday. This is sitting at the 29,710 to the 29,666. I pretty much, I think yesterday in the during the live stream, I mean, I was so desperate for price action to have some type of an extreme move that I was even willing to trade this band here with a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Now, my only concern with this buyer band here, sitting at the 29,710 to the 29,666, we are most likely 90% chance that we are going to reject off of this band, okay? And the way that the NQ has been showing its face, it's not going to have the muster to break through this band in one fell swoop like that, okay? Nor do I even believe that it's going to consolidate much here. I think most likely it's going to be a good first test of volume in the NQ for a while, and we most likely will see a rejection off of here. My only issue with this band is that we don't really have any internal band that's a little bit more, let's just say, prop friendly, a little bit more scalpable for some of those traders that don't want to take this big of a range on their trade, which is, it's close to 50 points. Add another 3 or 4 points for your stop. So, you know, obviously you can position size yourself correctly, but even for some trading micros or 1 micro, this might be too much. This might be too much risk for you on a trade. Well, I don't really have anything internal on this band to formulate a trade idea from. So the only other option here would be to do exactly what it is that I was saying, and that would be to pop a limit buy order, stop sitting a little bit below your 2 or 3 points below your the bottom of this band at the 29,666, and on this one you're going to be targeting a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward right there. So that's what this trade would look like. Again, might not be the right appetite for some traders, but you know, for some traders that might have not even taken a trade in the last couple of days, good for you. You've been extremely disciplined. I envy you. You know, this might be a setup here that that calls your name. Okay, and this setup would look something like this. So again, a limit order for a buy at the 29,710 3/4, a TP at the 29,780 3/4, and a stop loss sitting at the 29,664. So that's what the NQ trade for today looks like. We've got prior day open sitting below here at the 29,657. Yesterday's low sitting at the 29,624. Again, all good external liquidity areas right now. We got a strong weekly low down here at the 29,533. And then obviously we've got some bands sitting below us, but it's in the 28,000s, and I don't anticipate that we're gonna have to worry about that in the market here today. All right, let's jump over to the ES right now. Give me 1 sec. Sorry about that. Kids are off to school again, so just wanted to give them a quick goodbye, and hope they have a good day at school here. All right, so on the ES, what do we got? We've got a prior day high daily level at the 77.94. We've got now a weekly high sitting at the 77.98. About 4-point difference here in this area right here. Again, good amount of liquidity. Excuse me, good amount of liquidity at the weekly high. Prior day high, prior day low. Those are definitely going to be levels that you want to trade, especially in market conditions that we're currently in. We've got our weekly band that's controlled here by sellers, sitting at the 78.10 to the 78.05. My trade idea, I've had this limit order set for 3 days, anticipating that we'd get some price action that would get up there, and it just hasn't been the case. Good example of something here to look out for. Your limit order here to go short on the ES would be at the 78.05. Again, I always target 1 to 1.5 on my ES trades. 1 point of stop above the band, so the stop loss would be sitting at the 78.11. Now, here's a scenario that I've been teaching you guys here in the morning. If you've got yourself kind of a built-in risk to reward on your trades, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, whatever it is that you're going, depending on the instrument that you're trading. If you have a key level sitting in between your entry and your take profit, the wise thing to do here is to either take your full position off at the daily level. In this case, it's the weekly high, which essentially will bring your risk to reward down to about 1 to 1.2. Or if you want to stay disciplined and you want to stay at a constant 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2 risk to reward, you might want to consider yourself going to break even in a scenario like this once you tap into a weekly high, because instantly these can go from resistance to support extremely quick, especially in the market conditions that we're currently in. Personally, I would just take my position off right at the weekly high. Just makes the most sense. Why be in profit? 5 points on the ES, try to get another point out of it. To me, doesn't make much sense, but to each their own. Below price action, we've got the prior day open at the 77.56. Prior day low, 77.48. It's going to be an important number. Okay, this is one that you definitely want to have on your chart. Good amount of liquidity. It's almost going to serve as external liquidity in this type of environment. And then we have our weekly low at the 77.38. These are the levels that you want to be trading. Okay, in this type of market, I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but those are the levels that you really want to be focusing in on when all we are seeing is pure choppiness. And lastly, in gold, really only one band sitting down here. This is all buyers right down here. 43.99.5 to the 23.74.1. Do have a 15-minute level here at the 43.76. In general, right now, I am very bullish on gold. Okay, I think gold has got room for a much more continued move back to the upside. So, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, that's a big prediction, but let's just say that I'm very bullish on gold as of right now. And let's just see. This is my weekly band chart that I give you guys on Sunday. So if we go to Sunday's price action here, let's go to Sunday's gap. Where are we? Monday, Friday. So our gap happened somewhere right around around here was our gap. As you guys can see, since Sunday's open, which was right around here, we haven't traveled very far at all. I mean, this is very shocking to me. So none of the weekly bands, I mean, these are all extremes, you know, these are extremes right now. 29,082 and the top side 30,905. You know, those are going to be your extreme bands on the NQ. I would love for us to revisit these areas. Absolutely love for us to revisit, because for market to revisit one of these areas, we're most likely going to have to see some type of scenario like that. And again, that starts to leave unbalanced volume areas. That's what I like to trade. That's what I like to give you guys with my golden levels that I post, with my bands that I post. That's what gives me my signals for my signal group. The ES, very similar picture. Let's see where our band is here. Oh yeah, this was our rip from 2 weeks ago. I mean, the ES, to get to buyer volume, it needs to travel down to the 75.44 to the 74.95. It's got a long trip beneath it. But again, this is all of Sunday to Thursday price action on the ES. So again, if you've been struggling, I have been, so I'm in the same camp. I'm speaking from my personal experience. If you've been struggling in this market, guys, it's not only you. It's a difficult one right now. I made the decision today. I'm going to be trading just one Trade-A-Fi funded account. I'm not going to be trading in cash today with my live single members. We'll see how the market. In fact, I was almost going to go to sim today. I was almost going to say, you know what? I'm not even going to trade on the funded. I was really contemplating on just trading sim here this morning. I don't think I've traded sim in 5 years in a normal market day, but it was an option that I was considering. I made the decision that I'm just going to trade a Trade-A-Fi funded account that I've got that is currently sitting at 50,342. It's a 50K funded account. So, and again, even that funded account's down $600, I think, this week. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, maybe a little more. I think that balance on Monday was maybe at 51,000. So, kind of shows you there's definitely been a struggle here. So, I'm definitely not immune to it. Here's that 7:30 news. So let's see if the market does finally go after some liquidity here. We're looking at the ES right now. I'll pop over to the NQ here as well. And again, the market has areas that it can tap into for liquidity. It's just taking out internal. It's just taking out very, very short-term internal. So PPI numbers, they were anticipating 4.9%, came in at 4.7%. U.S. initial jobless claims, they were anticipating 202,000. Those actually came in at 209,000, so a lot worse than what was expected on the initial jobless claims. Now, you can view that as a negative for the market, for the economy. Stock market views that a little bit different. The equities definitely will view that a little bit different, because inflation is really mainly going to be tied into, or I should say inflation rate, federal monetary rate is very, very influenced by jobless data or jobs data. And obviously they take into account inflation. But when more people are not employed, there is less money being flowed into your consumer products, your daily products that you use. And when that happens, prices tend to fall, okay? Because the demand starts to drop. And when demand starts to drop, prices start to drop, inflation rate starts to drop, then we don't have that worry of a possible rate increase in the next Fed meeting, the next FOMC. And so the market economists and the actual market view these type of data like initial jobless claims a little differently. So in the beginning, you might say, okay, well, that's really negative news because more people are unemployed. Yeah, it's not good for the people that are unemployed, but the way that the market looks at it is much, much different. And again, what kind of price action was this? This was about a 9-point move on the ES, 9 points. You know, on what I would consider to be, you know, PPI and did I say today was? I think I put in my thing CPI today. Oh, geez. PPI number and initial jobless claims. You know, typically that's a decent needle mover. We should see a little bit of price action in there. And let's just see what the range was on the NQ. You're at the 890s to probably the base of that move was around the 830s. So about 60-point move there on that news release. Again, not horrible, but really didn't take out any type of structure here. Didn't really take out really much liquidity. In fact, didn't even take the tops out sitting up here. You would assume that with this move to the downside, a break of structure down here, that you would have a few traders betting on a continuation to the downside, stop sitting up here, and it didn't even run it. So again, just be careful in the markets here today. Stay disciplined. I already told you what my game plan is. I already showed you guys what trade ideas I'm looking at here on the NQ and the ES. I already told you that my plan today is not to trade in cash. Is going to be to stick to one of my TraderRob funded accounts. One of them. Not even going to copy trade them. So that's my game plan. Wish you guys the absolute best. Trader 007, good morning. Bali, good morning. Joyce, good morning. Paul, good morning. Trade 44 Life, good morning. J-Loves, good morning as always. Joe, Steve, good morning. If you guys haven't, please hit the like on the button. I really do appreciate this. I really hope that you guys get some value out of this more condensed live show. It's really meant to just give you a few good trading opportunities for the day. It allows you just to set some limit orders. Obviously, I know we haven't tapped into any of these orders in the last couple of days, but typically on a normal session, we typically are tapping into, if not 3 to 4 of these trade ideas per day. Really good to trade with prop firms, really good to trade if you're trading on a live cash account. So that's kind of my gift to you guys. I appreciate you guys. Stay humble, stay disciplined, try to stay in the green if you can, or flat. Flat's a great position to be in the markets today. Take care, everyone.